Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and just want to welcome you back to Glenda's Dragon's Den. Um, I am very grateful that you are here with me today and to talk about um, the person to talk to this one particular person, whether it's you or many of you, but definitely the one that is tired of waiting. Not casually waiting, but impatiently waiting. The one that um, doesn't know what to do next. The one that has cried in silence. The person who has asked for signs and then wonder if they missed them. That person. The person who has watched and thought from others, who has seen door after door close on them, and even ask themselves how much more redirection can the one soul take. The person who has done the healing, cleared the energy, set the intentions, made the changes, and still feels like the answer has not arrived. This episode is for the one standing between what ended and what has not begun yet. The one who knows something is shifting but cannot see the full shape of it. The one that keeps asking when. When will the door open? When will the heaviness lift? When will the right people arrive? When will the money flow? When will the healing hold? When will the work be seen? When will life finally make sense? And I just want to begin this by saying sometimes the delay is not denial. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is the divine refusing to let you walk through the door that would cost you your peace. That's what I want to talk about today. Divine timing, when the delay is not a denial. It isn't saying that you're not going to get it, but divine timing. Sometimes we look at it and we keep saying, yeah, divine timing, but most of us don't have the patience and do not understand why our friend or our neighbor or people who put less work into their healing and into their projects are getting doors open time and time and time again. Sometimes waiting can hurt, right? Delays can break your heart. Closed doors can feel personal. Silence can make you question everything. And when you are exhausted, the words trust the process can feel almost impossible to heal. I say that to many of my clients. Trust the process. And I know they're looking at me like cross eyed because they're like, we've been suffering for a long time. Why can't things just happen? Well, life is not always a punishment, or what doesn't occur for you right away is not always a punishment, or the divine and the spirit and life saying, no, you're not worthy. That's not what it means. Sometimes it's deeper, not into, you know, knowing when you're going to do this or do that, but it's deeper. It is something that is protecting you. It is, we're going into this space where the soul is being stretched, refined, strengthened, and prepared for what it has been asking you to receive. So for today, let's just take a deep breath. Let's just all arrive, right? Let's arrive at at this place. Let's arrive at what I'm talking about. So take a deep breath in and exhale. And again, another deep breath in and exhale. letting your body know that for this moment, it does not have to chase the answer. Let's start, let your heart know, basically, that being tired does not mean you have failed. And gently say within yourself, I am willing to trust what is being aligned even before I can see it. And so we begin. Waiting is not always peaceful. I don't know too many people that they're not impatient, that they want the answers now, that they apply for a job and they want the answer the next day. Well, it doesn't work that way. When the universe, when the divine is opening these doors for you, it happens at divine timing. When divine being can see that the timing is perfect for you. Sometimes waiting may feel like suspended between two worlds. One life has ended, but the next one has not fully opened. One door has closed, but the next one is still even hidden. Never mind unlocked. One version of you is gone, but the new version is still learning how to breathe. And that in between place can feel lonely, can hurt, can feel like you're isolated, can feel like you're the only one going through it. People may tell you to be patient. I tell my clients that all the time. I tell myself that all the time. They may tell you everything happens for a reason. They may tell you your time will come. They may even mean it. It's all well meant. But when you are one living in the pause, those words may not touch the ache, may not resonate, may not even help you understand. Because waiting is not just about time, it's about uncertainty. It's about not knowing if you are prepared or forgotten. It's wondering whether you to keep holding on or to finally let go of that dream. It is even about trying to trust you while your human heart wants evidence. And there are moments when divine timing does not feel divine. It feels like silence, feels like disappointment. Come on, it has to have happened to any one of you at least once. It feels like watching others receive what you have been praying for, working towards, and quietly carrying, and yet it doesn't happen. It feels like doing everything you know to do and still standing in front of that door that will not open. If you have felt that, I want you to know this. Your frustration does not make you unspiritual. Your tears do not make you lack trust. Your questions do not offend the divine. Your exhaustion does not erase your faith in the unseen. You are human. And being human means sometimes the soul trusts while the heart trembles and kind of doubts. That does not make you weak, it makes you honest. And honesty is sacred. Really, it is. Sometimes the door that does not open is the door you begged for. The relationship, the opportunity, the contract, the home, the job, the car, the platform, the invitation, the person, the answer. And when it does not happen, it can feel like rejection. But not every door closed is rejection. I remember one time I went to the dealership. I wanted a different car. Mine was getting older. And I saw this Corvette, red, beautiful candy apple Corvette. It was in the 80s, so it was really beautiful, brand new. Had the loan, I had everything. And something occurred. All of a sudden, the whole deal fell through. Nothing was going right. And I kept saying, this is can't be, this is the car I want, yada yada. Now, mind you, it's a Corvette. It's a sports car, two-seater. And I don't even at that time there wasn't even a garage to put my car away. In the wintertime, it wouldn't have been fun trying to drive that car. And if anybody knows Northeast, you know that winters are brutal and long. And, that's, you have to think about this. So a day later, I get the newspaper because in those times you still got newspapers delivered in print, in actual paper. And I see all of a sudden an opportunity to see a Camaro, brand new Camaro. They were having a sale on it, yada, yada. Well, I end up going to the dealership, didn't get that one, but I bought another vehicle. I ordered the vehicle exactly as I wanted it, in black with all the features, all the bells and whistles, yada yada, T roofs, yada yada yada. And of course, that's the year that Chevy goes on strike. Now I am about to lose it because here I am. I want this car. I want this car. I ordered it. It should have been here in 8 weeks, and here it is 3 months and still don't have it. And I don't see any light at the end of that tunnel. And I still have the older car that's falling apart. And I did not want to go into another winter with this vehicle. Many of you are going to say, but the Camaro is a sports car. Yes, but believe it or not, in in that year, in those years, in that era, the Camaros were not as slippery as they are now or were before. They were pretty solid, and if you drive smart, you could get anywhere in any type of weather. So, but here I am. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, impatient, almost every single day calling the dealership. What the heck? Where is it? What's going on? Da 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 da. Well, I realized that if I would have gotten, when I finally, time went by, if I would have received the car when I was supposed to get the car, my vehicle would have been up in flames because the dealership that was receiving the vehicle had a fire, and it affected all the cars that were pre ordered. So later on, when I was thinking about it, I said, it would have been a lot longer. I would have had to wait another 8 to 10 weeks, or maybe even longer, for me to be able to use the new car, to receive the new car. So one does it is not a rejection, just like the the Corvette was not a rejection. It was a protection. And not receiving the Camaro when I was supposed to, it was another protection, another rerouting, but to be able to truly fully enjoy the vehicle without having it seen destroyed and then having to order it all over again. Now, some doors may stay open because your future is being protected. Again, just like the vehicles. Some people do not choose you because they could never have honored the fullness of you or and who you are. Some opportunities fall apart because they were built on energy that would have drained you. Some relationships end because they were attached to the old wound, not the healed self. And some paths disappear because they belong to the version of you that was still trying to prove their worth. Sometimes, just sometimes, The divine blocks what you're wounded so you could be accept your healed self. Let that land. Sometimes the divine blocks what you're wounded so you can accept your healed self. Sometimes the divine wants you to stop agonizing, to start trusting. And sometimes you know, we don't do so good in that area. Why? Because we're humans. That doesn't mean, that you can accept the delay and be graceful about it and still not hurt. It doesn't mean you will understand it immediately. It doesn't mean that you should pretend that you are fine when you're not. But there are doors that look beautiful from the outside and become cages once you enter them. Look at all of those marriages, those relationships, right? That they look great when you first start. The right atmosphere, the right energy. Oh, he remembers every detail, he does everything perfect. And then as you get into it further and further, time tells you. You had doubts before you entered that relationship. You saw the red flags. Divine was trying to stop you, and you wanted that relationship because you wanted a relationship. And what happened? That caused you pain. It caused you to suffer trauma. It caused you to live in a confusion. It caused you sometimes your life. And you had to relearn how to be you again. There are blessings that would not have remained blessings because the foundation was wrong. Yeah, the idea of marriage was great, but that moment there were other options. Just say. And we all do it. Come on. We all want to be loved. We all want someone to love. We all want someone to be with, to do things with. And sometimes we have to look at those moments where divine creator, spirit world is trying to stop us. There are people who would have loved your light but resented your power. How many times haven't you said to yourself, why is that person so jealous of me? When I haven't done anything to them. All you have to do is exist. Why? Because they see what you are receiving, the accolades you are receiving, your the end result of the hard work you put in that nobody saw. Be honest about the disappointment. So when a door closes, grieve if you need to grieve. But do not assume that the closed door means you were unworthy. Sometimes it means you were being spared. Sometimes it means your soul was being redirected towards something that can actually hold who you are and who you are becoming. Now, mind you, you know, my very first serious relationship, my parents were not so happy with the guy, but they respected me. They wanted me to be happy. They saw how happy he made me. And he went back to another country to sell properties or do some business so he could bring that money over and we could buy a house cash and we could, have a good life together. And I could finish school without having to continue working and all this other stuff. And a month before the wedding, I received a letter that he had to marry somebody else because he got them pregnant. What I loved about him was how he was a true man, a gentleman, how he knew what his responsibilities were and he took care of them. Well, that is what became the stoppage. I found out later on that he started drinking. And because of his drinking, he became very violent. So that would have been me, the person he was violent against. And there's a difference between effort and force. Effort is being grounded, force is being frantic. Effort is being has breath, force has panic. Stop forcing what is not aligned. Effort says, I will do my part. Force says, I must make this happen or I am not safe. That's not how it's supposed to be. And this matters because many people exhaust themselves trying to force what requires alignment. Oh, he'll change or she'll change. They promise me this is the last time that this is going to happen. Or, oh, well, I apply for this job and why can't I get it? I'm fully qualified. I'm fully this. They went with somebody else. And you don't realize that later on, all those promises that that company made to that employee were not done. And it was hell working there. They get in, one of your friends or someone you know gets in there, they have a job, and 6 months later, down the road, they tell you how difficult the place is, how drama, how toxic exists and grows in that work environment. Now, you don't chase people who are not meeting you at the same place. They push doors that keep closing. Why? Why do you keep doing that? They over explain to people committed to misunderstanding them. They try to manifest from fear instead of from trust or just knowing. They compare their timing to everyone else's. They mistake urgency for guidance. And they wonder why their spirit feels drained. Not every delay is a sign that you need to push harder. Sometimes it is a signal to pause and listen. Sometimes the energy is saying, not this way, not this person, not from fear, not at the cost of yourself, not because you think you're ready, not before you are ready to hold it, right? We may get something, but we're not ready to really deal with the full immensity of it. Divine timing does not mean doing nothing. On contrary, it means taking aligned action without worshiping control. Because you cannot control things. If you try to control things, even though you can't control it, you will end up at the wrong side of it. Send the email, make the call, create the offering, have the conversation, apply, practice, build, show up. But if you have to abandon your peace to keep something alive, pause. Pause. Who the heck wants to live in chaos? Who the heck wants to work in chaos? Who the heck wants to go out and every single time they go out, the people that are with them, they're chaotic. They're driven by drama. So if you have to shrink to fit through the door, pause. Not for you. If you have to keep proving your worth to be chosen, pause. Not for you. If you have the opportunity that requires you to betray your body's wisdom, pause. If your body is telling you don't go there, don't go there. What is meant for your highest good will not require you to disappear from yourself. It will require you not to shrink. It will not require you to be less than what you are. The pause could look nothing like you think. It it's not that it's no movement, no confirmation, no breakthrough, no clear sign, but beneath the surface, something may be forming. Your discernment is sharpening. Your boundaries are strengthening. Your intuition is being cleared, clearer and clearer and clearer. Your nervous system is learning a new level of safety. Your spirit is releasing old agreements. Oh, that's so powerful. Your energy is being recalibrated so you can receive without repeating the same wound. A seed does not look successful while it is underground, but you know that the roots are forming. Strength is in the building. Life is preparing to rise. That is how some seasons work. You may think nothing is happening because nothing has appeared on the surface, but spirit may be working in the root system of your life. And the pause may be removing what you cannot come with you, right? The delay may be exposing what you were still attached to. The waiting may be teaching you the difference between desire and desperation. And the silence may be training you to hear the quieter voice within. Believe me, I am a Gemini. And Geminis, patience is not exactly their number one thing, but I have developed it. I have been working on it all my life because I need to trust that divine creator has me. They got me. They got my back. They got me. When I want something and they send me in the direction, I have to remember to just let things resolve themselves. Just let things work themselves. You know, the silence may be training you to hear the quieter voice within you. It doesn't mean that waiting is easy by any means. You know, sometimes we just have to sit there and wait. It means waiting may be doing a deeper work than you realize. And one day, when the right door opens, you may understand why the old one could not. Sometimes you are waiting for cannot arrive while you are still operating. You're waiting for something that cannot arrive while you're still operating as your old version of yourself, right? The old version who says yes from fear, the old version who ignores the red flags, the old version who undercharges, overgives, and calls it service. I create service. And I want people to have access to things, but I will not take disrespect. I will not be taken for granted. And that old version of me left a long time ago. That old version that confuses intensity with love. The old version who you choose the familiar chaos over the unfamiliar peace. The old version who keeps proving instead of receiving. This is not judgment, it is awareness. There are things we ask for that require a different version of us in order to be able to hold that. In order to be able to hold that peace, you cannot, under any circumstances, accept chaos and think that that is okay. A healthy relationship requires the version of you who no longer abandons yourself for a connection. A larger platform requires the version of you who can be seen without collapsing under other people's opinions. More clients require the version of you who has clear boundaries, who has clear offerings, and encourage you to be compensated for your work. The deeper spiritual calling requires the version of you who knows when to serve and when to rest. A new life requires the version of you who stops building from old survival patterns. or old building materials. Old building materials that were thrown in the dumpster are not always good. They may have termites. They may be water damaged. They may have mold. So sometimes the delay is not about the thing, it is about the vessel. Now, let's talk about comparison will make you mistrust your path. Many, I see this day in and day out. Comparison is poison to the divine timing. Why? Because you see with your eyes the lawn in your neighbor's yard instead of just working on your yard, right? You look at it and you compare that yard with your yard. You don't see that that person gets a service every single week they come. They keep feeding it, they keep mowing, they keep doing everything timely and properly in order to get that. Why compare yourself and to someone else while you curse your own soil? You see the relationship, the business grow, the home, the clients, the recognition, the healing, the visibility, the opportunity, and some all of a sudden you say to yourself, my life isn't good, feels out of place. But you are not seeing the whole story. You do not know what that person had to endure. You do not know what that person had to do to sacrifice. You do not know what they are still healing. You do not know what their soul came here to learn. And you do not know whether you would even want that full cost of that life that you are comparing yourself to. A rose does not apologize because the sunflower blooms taller. The moon does not rush because the sun rises first. Everything carries its own rhythm, and so do you. Your timing is not wrong because it's different. Your path is not failing because it is quieter. You're waiting for something better. You're waiting for something more sacred for you. That's all. Do not let someone else's visible moment convince you that the unseen preparation is meaningless or that you're not worthy of it. Now, there's a lot of people that compare themselves to others, especially in the paranormal field, in the spiritual field, almost every field, but those two have been paying extra attention to. You see the person rising. You see the hard work be coming to fruition, and you don't understand why is it that they're so high and mighty when you know you could do things better. You know that, you know, even though it's different, just wait for your turn. Continue working on yourself. Continue building your foundation. Continue working on your yard, on your lawn, on your dream, not on theirs. Why be jealous? Why compare? Each person has a different path. Each person, even if you do the exact same thing, you're both architects, but you're different architects. One may like modern, one may be like old style. So, Victorian style, say. So, why are you comparing yourselves? Each one of you is talented in their own way, gifted in their own way, and you will get exactly what you want at the right time. I, even myself, sometimes question why can't this work out? Why I'm doing all the right steps where there's some healing that must take place in order for me to get to the next level. In order for me to take that other step going up that ladder. I have to become comfortable. I have to make sure that that ladder is safe, have to make sure that if I take the next step, I'm not going to fall down and hurt myself. You may becoming strong enough to hold what you once only wished for. And sometimes the waiting strips away the false timelines. You know, our humanity created time. Divine sees it differently. Divine sees it when everything is aligned perfectly. That is when you're supposed to be receiving what you have asked for. What is aligns with your path, with your highest good, and the ones created by the old belief must be stripped because your worth is not does not depend on that. Does not depend on the visible progress. It only depends on you and what you believe in. Divine timing does not always speak through thunder. Sometimes it speaks through delay, through repeated messages, maybe a body response, a dream, a sudden idea, a door closing at the exact moment you were about to betray yourself to enter it, a person disappearing because before you could pull before you could say, yeah, I accept, and you could pull yourself further from the truth. Strange peace around something that used to terrify you. Not every sign means go. Sometimes the sign means prepare. Sometimes the sign means wait. But whatever it is, know that divine only gives you what you are ready to receive. So if you are abandoning yourself and not listening to what divine is trying to tell you, you're not going to get what you asked for, what is rightfully yours, because you're not aligned with that blessing. We have to be careful not to use sign to override wisdom. The door opens, but your body contracts. Listen, if your body hurts, if you get really physically ill, especially if you go in there in through that door and you feel like, okay, I don't understand what's happening. This is not for me. Get out. Divine does not only guide you through movement, sometimes it guides you through stillness, through the doors closing, the roads closing. You know, it redirects you all over the place, and that is okay. It's not punishment, it just means that you're not aligned with the energy yet, and it will occur when the time is right. Surrender, yeah, surrender. Trusting and surrender is one of the most, or are one of the most misunderstood spiritual words. It doesn't mean giving up. Surrender and trusting. Surrendering means releasing the illusion that control is the same as safety. It means doing your part without gripping or making the outcome so tight that you lose yourself. It means saying, I am willing to let the wrong thing fall away. I am willing to stop chasing what needs to keep moving away from me. I am willing to trust that what is aligned will not require my self betrayal. I'm willing to be guided beyond my own timeline. Now that takes courage, takes real courage. Because surrender asks you to loosen your hands before you can see what will replace what you are releasing. It asks you to stop forcing the familiar just because the unknowns feel scary. Don't go back to that house that's built on chaos and drama and trauma just because you don't know what steps going to go further. When you close the door in your past, Try to keep that door closed. There's a reason you closed it. And you might have forgotten all the details because it's been a while, but it asks you to keep moving forward and trust that the movements are happening beyond your immediate sight. Sometimes surrender sounds like one breath, a quiet yes, an honest no, one decision not to send a message, one decision to rest instead of pushing, and one decision to stop bargaining with a closed door. Is not a weakness, that is a power of wisdom and courage. Oh, dear Lord, we really are humans who create chaos when we don't have to. Now, I want to guide you through divine timing activation because many of you are losing it right now. You are. There's a lot of energy, and everywhere you go, it's heartbreak, it's heartache, it's doors closing. You feel like you're not connected. Sometimes you even feel like you're not even yourself, like you're acting like a robot, just doing what you need to do and not really participating in your life. Now, please, I don't want you to participate in this activation unless you are fully in a safe place to relax. So if you're driving or doing something that requires your attention, keep your eyes open and simply let these words move gently through your awareness and then go back to it later. Right here, the recording stays. So for those who are able to, allow your body to settle, taking deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your hands rest. Let your shoulders soften. Again, take deep breaths and release. Again, breathe in and release. I want you to bring your awareness now to your heart, not forcing it, just noticing, and say gently, I am here. Again, I am here. If you wish to, you could put one hand in your heart. And since you have your eyes closed, I want you to see now, envision a soft light above you, a light of wisdom, a light of sacred order, a light of divine timing. Let it move around you gently, not rushing you, not pushing you, holding you steady. And now bring to mind something you have been waiting for, whether it's a healing, an answer, a door, a relationship, a breakthrough, a sign, a next step, direction. And let the feeling be present without forcing the details. Now, gently say to yourself, I release the need to force what requires alignment. Again, I release the need to force what requires alignment. And take a nice deep breath. I release the fear that I have been forgotten. Take another deep breath. I release comparison to anyone else's timeline. I trust myself to take the next aligned step. Take another breath. I trust the Spirit to move through what I cannot see. Now take another deep breath and envision the path before you. You do not need to see the entire road, you just need to see one step, only the one step. Let that step light up, not the whole journey. And I want you to just take another deep breath as I activate your patience, your trust, your surrender, and say to yourself, I am not behind, I am becoming. I am not forgotten, I am being guided. I am not denied, I'm being aligned. I do my part, I release my grip. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale. And I'm going to give you a blessing to end this podcast tonight. Receive only what feels aligned with your heart, your body, your path, and your relationship with the divine or God, whatever you want to call it. To the divine source of love, wisdom, clarity, compassion, and sacred order, may every person listening feel supported in the waiting. May the frustration soften without listening or silencing what the truth needs to be. Needs to listen to the truth and not silence it. May fear be met with steadiness. May disappointment be held with compassion. May every door closed reveal its wisdom in time. May every delay that protected them one day make sense. May every sacred pause become preparation, not punishment. May they stop calling themselves behind. May they stop forcing what requires alignment. May they receive courage for the next step and wisdom for what must be released. May their body feel safer in the unknown. May their heart remain completely open without becoming unguarded. May their mind quiet enough to hear true guidance. May they recognize what is meant for them when it comes. May they remember they are not forgotten. May they remember the pause can still be sacred. And may they all this unfold in divine timing, divine protection, and in the highest good of all involved. And so it is. And remember, there is no shame in asking for clarity. There is no shame in needing support in the waiting. A sacred space where you can understand what your energy, body, and spirit have been trying to tell you. It may be then the next step is a healing session, a guidance session, a class, a circle. Sometimes spirit moves through the right person, the right space, the right session, or the right teaching at the exact right timing. Take a deep breath and thank yourself for being here. Honor who you are and honor the surrendering of control. Whether you're going through healing, guidance, classes, circles, whatever, the space is always available. Create that space and allow your wisdom to take the next aligned step. Don't force it, just the next step. And as we close today, remember this: the delay is not always denial, the pause is not always punishment, The door closed is not always rejection. For even the wisest sometimes lose patience. And it is only in the quietness of your own soul that you remember that your surrender to divine timing is what will be your highest and greatest good. What will take you back to your path, your journey, and what will feel deeper in your soul is when everything occurs at a perfect time. So, again, if you feel that you want to get in touch with me, please don't hesitate. Go to glendasmagicalcreations.com, hit the contact button, and I am the only one who reads those emails. If there are emails that go to the scholarship department, that goes to the scholarship department directly, not to me. So please, until next time, may you trust the pause, may you honor the next step, may you release what is not aligned with you, may you receive what is truly meant for you, and remember, the delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is divine timing. Many blessings. I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And as always, I love you. Bye.